Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, of course, everyone for tuning in. Okay, a lot's happened. We're going to cover a lot on this podcast, so stay tuned to every segment. We got a lot to cover, but I want to first talk about Hillary Clinton. And let me just play the clip, and then we'll talk about Hillary Clinton. She did an interview with Christine Amanpour on CNN. And by the way, Christine Amanpour is insane. She's a crazy woman. You know, when she was pregnant, she was covering for CNN in a war zone wearing one of those flak vests over her pregnant tummy. I mean, she's
pretty nuts.
She's nuts. I mean, she's a completely insane person. I mean, that's just insane. But anyway, Hillary Clinton was being interviewed by that lunatic, Christine Amanpour, and said this.
It will require us defeating those most extreme measures and the people who promote them in order to try to get to some common ground where people can, again, work together. That's the way it used to be. I mean, we had very strong partisans in both parties in the past, and we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. Mm-hmm. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
Okay, now when she says there needs to be a deprogramming of the cult members, notice Christine Amanpour and Hillary Clinton, neither of them are laughing. That's not a joke. She's talking about the drive-in in Red Dawn, right? She wants re-education camps.
Exactly.
And, the thing about the Clintons, Hillary Clinton in particular, okay, obviously she's dealing with post-traumatic loss disorder from 2016. And I understand her losing her mind. She has not gotten over that. And the reason she's lost her mind, look at what she did her whole life for that moment, right? Everything everything she did with Bill Clinton, everything she put up with, the national humiliation when she went on the Today Show with Matt Lauer and said, this is a vast right-wing conspiracy against my husband. And then the next day, it was confirmed, and she had a breakdown. And, when that happened, some of you guys don't remember, but I remember like it was yesterday. She went on the Today Show. Matt Lauer interviewed her, of all people, right, with what he turned out to be. He turned out to be like Bill Clinton. And when she said this vast right-wing conspiracy against my husband, she was referring to the allegations about Monica Lewinsky. And very soon after that, it was found out that it was true. I mean, Bill Clinton admitted it right after that. And then he had a press conference, and he had a Band-Aid on his head. And what had happened was she threw an ashtray at him across the room and hit Bill Clinton in the head with the ashtray.
Well, I think he wore that Band-Aid, and I think he did that interview on purpose because he wanted people to know she did that.
But she did throw the ashtray at him.
He wanted people to know that. He wanted people to know she's a lunatic. What she's telling here, what she is saying, remember, she was rejected with Barack, too.
Yeah.
The American people rejected her twice.
Yeah.
On a big national scale to be president. So this is a dream of hers that has eluded her. And she has never been able to accept it or get over it. And what she's basically saying here is there's people in the world, in the country, and in politics that don't think along with the swamp, don't go along with the swamp, don't think like her. And because of that, they're extremists and they need to be reprogrammed. I've heard people talk about this, the re-education. How would this work exactly? I mean, she is dead serious, like you said. Does she really think that that MAGA needs to be put separated from society?
Yes.
And deprogrammed, or does she? How does she see this in her mind? Do you think? How does she see this occurring?
There are lots of people that have very extreme political views that I disagree with, but it's America, and just because someone has a view that I might consider extreme, I don't think they should be taken away to a re-education camp.
No, I mean, I think abortion is an extreme political view. Killing your kid is an extreme view.
Yeah.
but she's all for that. But we're the dangerous people.
Well,
I mean, look at her with Benghazi. She had a guy that worked for her. She let him get killed. I mean, this is a bad woman.
Christy. Well, this is the thing with Hillary, okay, that people got to understand about her. I don't think people really, truly understand. If you want to really learn about Hillary, Dinesh D'Souza's movie, Hillary's America, he goes through a lot of her background in high school, which I'll tell you a little bit about it now. But Hillary Clinton had a breakdown in 2016. She's never recovered from it.
Yeah.
And her entire life, she was groomed for the presidency. But when she was a younger person, women couldn't get to that level. So she had to marry somebody that had access. So she married Bill Clinton. And Hillary Clinton has been deep state her entire life. She was born into this. Remember, she's not from Arkansas. A lot of people think she's from Arkansas because of Bill Clinton. She is from Chicago, and her parents were part of a cell in Chicago. It was Hillary Clinton's parents. It was Valerie Jarrett's parents. It was Bill Ayer's parents. Mm-hmm. And also a member of that cell was Frank Marshall Davis. You guys know Frank Marshall Davis. And they had this political group, the parents of Hillary, Valerie Jarrett, and in Chicago. She was born into that, and she was matched up with Bill Clinton to get
By
into.
Who do you think?
Well, her family and that cell in Chicago were very well connected. Hillary Clinton.
But how did he, a guy from the trailer park, how did he get?
He wasn't really from the trailer park.
Well,
That's
how
a
did
myth.
a guy like that from Arkansas get hooked up with such connected
he was,
people?
I'll tell you, but I'll finish with Hillary first. Hillary Clinton, in this cell that she was in that she was born into in Chicago, she was always groomed to be something important. So they matched her with a guy who could do it. During Watergate, this is how connected Hillary Clinton is.
Yeah, I remember this.
During the Watergate hearings, none of these things are secrets or anything, but the Clintons have been out of the White House for so long, a lot of these things have been forgotten. And this thing about the Chicago cell, people didn't know at all until she ran for president against Trump. But she was an attorney on the Watergate prosecution team against Richard Nixon. That's how connected she was. Now, she had done some things. She got in trouble and they fired her. But she was still that's how connected she was, okay, that she was on the Watergate team. So she's always been a part of this. Now, Bill Clinton is more of a mystery. He's not some guy from a trailer park. When Bill Clinton became an Oxford Rhodes Scholar, a lot of people don't know this. He never completed his education at Oxford. Bill Clinton, and by the way, all these things you can look up. I haven't talked about this stuff in years, so a lot of it's vague memories to me, but it's all coming back to me because Hillary's all over the place today. She's the headline everywhere, even on Drudge, with this deep reprogramming.
Do you think that's why
thing.
she said it?
And
do you think she said it just to get talked about?
No,
or do you think she really believes?
She always
or both?
talks about this. It just got viral today. But Bill Clinton, when he was going to Oxford, never finished Oxford. He was accused by a girl in England of rape, and he was so well connected, he was able to leave the UK, and then I can't remember if he went to Harvard or Yale here in the United States. I can't remember. These people always go to one or the other, and I can never remember who goes to which one. And he was still able to get into the Ivy League here, and that's when they hooked him up with Hillary Clinton. So Bill and Hillary Clinton have always been incredibly, incredibly connected. And I just tell you one last thing about how connected they are. We were talking about this a few weeks ago on the podcast.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, when he won the presidency, she's got this arrogance about losing to Trump. Bill Clinton won the presidency with a minority vote. Because it was a three-way race. Remember Ross Perot? Ross Perot came in to the race, dropped out, came back in, and took a bunch of Republican votes away from Bush 41.
But he did win the second time.
Well, no, but there wasn't a third party. But in the first campaign, when Ross Perot came in, and this is something I just discovered about 6 months ago, and I told you guys here on the podcast, I was shocked that Ross Perot's running mate, Admiral Stockdale, was a commander in the Navy who was in charge of the fighter squadron at the Tonkin Gulf incident, which is what Lyndon Johnson used to get us into the Vietnam War. And I was shocked to learn that. I was watching a documentary on YouTube about the Tonkin Gulf, and they said, Commander Stockdale. I'm like, what Stockdale? What? And it was him. So the Clintons have always been a part of the deep state from the very beginning since they were young, both of them, okay? And Hillary Clinton, what happened with her with Obama is that Obama didn't just come out of nowhere. He was recruited by the Kennedys, Carolyn Kennedy and Ted Kennedy. They had got together with Harry Reid and recruited Obama to run against Hillary. I don't know why, but they did that, and she lost. And the birth certificate questions about Obama, that began with Hillary Clinton's campaign. Hillary Clinton started that in the Democrat primary back then. Okay, that was her. It's hard to believe when you look back today, but Hillary Clinton was the one that was asking for the birth certificate. That's where the story originated from. So she lost there. She had a breakdown. Then she thought that she was going to be gifted the election. They underestimated Trump, and she lost. And she's never gotten over it.
She lost when she talks about half the country like this. She's her own worst enemy, Hillary Clinton. She's unlikable. She's a nasty bitch. I'm sorry, but this is why she didn't win any of the presidential election that was part of it. Because especially with Trump, I don't know, maybe that just would have happened anyway. But when you come out and you insult half the country like she's doing now, deplorables, this and that, how can you expect to win? I have never heard Trump insult voters.
Never.
Ever. And you just don't do that. You can insult the politicians and all this, but she is just not a nice person in general. And she does these interviews. She sounds very bitter. It's sad. It's really sad. It's almost like a Shakespearean tragedy, the Clintons. And she, she's probably one of these people that thinks she can just manifest something. If she thinks hard enough and dreams about it long enough, it'll happen. Life doesn't work out that way. If it's not part of God's plan, doesn't matter who the hell you are, it's not going to happen. It wasn't meant to be. I'm shocked she didn't run again, honest to God, instead of Biden. I was really surprised. I thought she would have run another time, but maybe donors and that said, no, we're not going to back you. I mean, do you think she would have, if she ran instead of Biden and won, do you think things would be worse, the same, or better with Hillary?
Worse.
She's certainly mentally, at least, not as out of it as he is.
That's why they'd be worse, because Hillary Clinton, what she should have done is... I mean,
what do you think the country would look like under her if she was president?
She should have stayed in the Senate for the rest of her life. She'd have been in the Senate. She'd be involved in everything, and she'd be a big person there. But, Hillary Clinton is an abused woman. Now, she put herself in that situation. I don't agree with you at all. But she's put herself through mental abuse and humiliation.
She's the abusive one.
She's both. She's both.
I don't see her as a victim. I'm sorry.
No, I don't say she's a victim, because she, when women would come out and talk about being assaulted or things by her husband, she would go out to destroy them, and she did. So she's been a very vicious person. And Hillary
she chose to stay in that marriage.
To become president, and you look at most you have to be charming. I don't like
definitely not that. There is not a charming bone in her body.
I don't like Obama, and I don't like Bill Clinton, but they're both charming.
Hillary has zero charm. That's Joe Biden.
That's why she's a loser.
Same with Joe Biden. He has zero charm. There's nothing charming about either one of them. I mean, yeah, he's just a strange guy and has weird perversions and all this. But Hillary has zero charm. And I don't think even when she's in her, I don't know, all these celebrities and all these people kiss her ass. Maybe she's different behind closed doors, but I don't think so. I think she thinks about Trump and talks about Trump nonstop 24/7. I think he lives rent-free in her head. She dreams about him. And I think that is her favorite topic of conversation. And I don't think he gives her a second thought, but I think that is all she thinks about.
Just to give you an indication of how unlikable she is, we were talking a couple podcasts ago, Michelle Obama and Barack have split. Okay,
I totally agree with you.
Now they got back together the other day because it was their anniversary and they wanted to look like they were together. But she went to Europe with Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson and who else?
Steven
Spielberg and his wife.
She was the only single lady there.
So Michelle Obama is traveling the world with Steven Spielberg and these people. When the Clintons were in their second term, there was talk about what were they going to do, and Steven Spielberg, he was building a mansion for them in California. They never went to California. When they were out of office, those Hollywood celebrities like Spielberg have had nothing to do with them, and it's because, like they do the Obamas, it's because she's so unlikable, even to like sycophants. They can't even stand to be around the Clintons.
She's totally out of the loop. You don't see her hanging out with people.
I did a YouTube video a couple weeks ago with Bill Clinton in Chappaqua going into this bookstore, and he's walking on the street, and no one even notices him.
Well, you were talking about this on the radio the other day, that one, other than Trump, once you're an ex-president, obviously that's when you've peaked. After that, nobody really pays attention. I mean, Obama, if he went and spoke somewhere, I don't think he could draw more than 50 people. And this guy was filling stadiums. But Trump is the only one who doesn't seem to have that issue.
What happens with the other presidents is when they speak to groups, they're like invitees to like a corporate event or some like the NRA convention or the NAACP convention, and they'll have them, and they already have a crowd, right? No one has done what Trump has done. Have rallies that are organic, that have, But Ron DeSantis was talking yesterday. He's got $5 million left in his campaign. Ron DeSantis,
you're joking.
He had $112 million.
Who said he had $5 million?
His campaign.
So they're not bringing in any more money.
They started with $112 million.
Oh my!
He's down to his last $5. And he's
done.
He's going to Iowa with his campaign staff and his $5 million. He kind of reminds me of
he just can't give up.
He reminds me of Sharon Stone in Casino when she goes off on her own with James Woods, and then they find her in a motel room with a few $100s in rolls of quarters. Remember, that's all she had left. And it's just
he is really
that's our
deluded.
governor.
He is really deluded if he thinks that he can still pull this one, pull this off.
He's out of his mind.
It's incredible to me. And
he's
Chris
out of
Christie's
his mind.
Chris Christie just likes to be on television. Nobody cares what he
Chris
says.
Christie's a different thing because Chris Christie's political career has been over for years now.
Yeah, he's just there to attack Trump.
And Ron DeSantis was just starting.
So are people not donating? I think people have stopped donating. In fact, I've had people that do regular political donations contact me. I don't really donate too much once in a while. I think I donated to Trump a couple times and probably DeSantis when he was running for governor. But it's not a regular thing with me, but I have a couple times. But I know people that regularly donate a lot of money and they've contacted me and they'll ask my opinion, which I know, and Brian's opinion. And they will say to me, do you think I should donate to this campaign because it looks like they're not going to win?
Yeah.
And I always tell them the same thing. I'm like, you got to decide that. I can't make that decision for you. I never tell people who they should donate to. That's none of my business, but I appreciate them asking. But if there's if that candidate is losing momentum or they're starting to pull down or they're starting to looks like they're losing, people aren't going to donate money. Then the people always say to me, I'd rather give it to somebody who I know is going to win. You know what I mean? In the party. So that's what's happening here. So all that money is obviously going to go to Trump because Trump's winning. He's way ahead of everybody else. And people that might not like Trump but are still conservative are going to be like, well, he's better than Biden.
But you know what, Kathy?
He's conservative.
This thing about money with these candidates, can anybody tell me that they either voted or didn't vote for someone because of money that the candidate had? And a lot of these candidates, like Vivek Ramaswamy, who's a billionaire, bought his way into the campaign. He's got money, so he could raise enough money easily. He can buy his way on the television and interviews and things like this. He bought his way in, and look how he fizzled, right?
Well, yeah, no, I don't know if that matters, but I think it matters with donations. But the problem is when they run out of money, then they disappear. They can't go and do speeches. They can't go on TV. They can't pay for ads.
Those are expensive.
And people forget about them and they figure, okay, well, on to the next. I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah, you hear all the time Trump will talk about, like, he's been at rallies, the mic doesn't work or something. He's like, well, I'm not paying for this venue because he pays for it. It's very expensive to go to these things. There's no doubt about it. But, just to finish up with Hillary Clinton with the deprogramming MAGA people. In her mind, that makes sense. And, the way that she's behaved since she lost to Trump, it was we really got lucky that she never became president because there was only one time in her career where she had like a crisis that she personally had to deal with, and that was Benghazi.
Yeah, and look what happened there.
And she blew that. And
who do you think would be worse? Do you think things are pretty damn bad right now. Do you think it'd be worse under Hillary, the same, or a little better? What do you guys think? Do you think if Hillary had won, would things be worse, same, or a little bit better? I'm not saying great, but a little bit better than with Biden, or worse? I mean, that's for me a tough call. I'm tending to think kind of the same, like equally bad or worse, because she seems to have, be very vindictive and bitter, and it has a lot of contempt for people. Well, all politicians are really like that.
Well, I think it would be worse with Hillary, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason things would be worse in the country today than with Hillary is because Hillary would have something to prove.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden has one concern and one concern only, making money. So he doesn't get involved as much. She would be involved in everything. And Dick Morris, who was Bill Clinton's campaign manager when he won re-election as governor in Arkansas, and was his campaign manager when he won re-election as president. So he's known the Clintons for many years. And Dick Morris said, every decision Hillary makes has always been the wrong decision.
Absolutely true.
Going back to when he was governor.
She has horrible instincts, he said. And you started reading this book I got you, Breaking Biden, because Dr. Savage had recommended it and said it was fantastic. And you started reading it today, and you said it's really, really good. Breaking Biden by Alex Marlowe.
Let me tell you,
Amazon right now.
When I read these political books,
That's a good title.
I don't get too many of them because they talk about them so much in the news. You get the highlights, and everyone's recommending this book, Savage, a bunch of other people. And when I read these kind of political biographies, I usually don't read the introductions. I just skip to chapter 1.
Yeah, I never read introductions either.
But I did start reading the introduction in this one. This book is going to take me 6 months to read, even though it's not that big of a book, and I'll tell you why. I was in shock at what I'm reading about Joe Biden. I've been
things you don't know.
I've been doing this for 30 plus years, and I've been following Biden all these years. I remember when he first got his hair plugs. Right, he had those doll hair plugs.
Yes,
and I thought I knew everything about this guy, and I had the the Miranda Devine book, Laptop from Hell,
He's
which
even
was
sleazier than you could imagine.
That book, when I got Laptop from Hell on audiobook, and I was driving to Disney World from our house. It was early in the morning, and I left the house at about 4:30 in the morning, and I had Laptop from Hell on audiobook, and I'm listening to it in the car on Bluetooth, and it was what I was hearing about Biden was so disturbing. I pulled off at a rest stop and did a YouTube live from the Florida Turnpike rest stop, and I was telling people how freaked out I was. It was scary. And so when I started reading the introduction to this new book, Breaking Biden, the reason it's going to take me so long to read it is because every sentence, this is not a paid promotion
a lot to
for this book.
I guess.
Every sentence was new skumduggery of Joe Biden that I've never heard before.
Yeah.
So I'm reading it much slower than I would normally read. Does that make sense?
I told you to get the highlight.
So it would say, Kathy, I want to highlight the whole book. It'll be one big highlight. I mean, it's crazy.
It sounds good.
So it's going to take me a while to get through because I thought my first thought was, you know what? I'm going to get up really early tomorrow morning. I'll read a big chunk of it, and then I'll do a YouTube live and talk about it. It's going to take me a long time to get through this book. But let me finish with Hillary before we break with this deprogramming. When Hillary Clinton is talking about deprogramming people, I know a lot of you out there will think I'm nuts about this. She's not joking. She's serious. And what the Hillary Clinton wing of the left would like to do is do just that. There will come a point, I'm sure they've already tried to do this, and for some reason they haven't. Maybe they don't think it'd be acceptable yet. But to get the Southern Poverty Law Center to declare MAGA Republicans. Remember, they always say extreme MAGA Republicans, to declare extreme MAGA Republicans a hate group. I've been telling you this for a couple of years.
Well, they've already called us terrorists.
Even, like Jim Jordan and others in Congress and Matt Gaetz, they keep calling them insurgents, which is a reference to the terrorists in Iraq during the Iraq War. So what she's talking about here is one of those things that people say, she said the quiet part out loud. Mm-hmm. This is how they talk about MAGA people in private. She did it to Christine Amanpour. And about that, like I said at the beginning of the segment, there are many people that have very extreme opinions that I think are nuts, that I don't agree with. But they shouldn't be. It's America. Everyone has a right to their opinion. And because someone has a completely polar opposite opinion than I have, it doesn't mean that I think they should be hauled in to some place and be re-educated to think right.
I feel like they've been trying to reprogram us for years on the news.
Oh, yeah.
Any network news you watch, they constantly feed you misinformation, lies. That's been going on since Donald Trump went down the escalator, and I think the deprogramming started then, and they've really amped it up. I mean, the whole Russia thing was trying to deprogram us and lie and misdirect, and everything they say is a lie and misrepresentation because they're trying. So the deprogramming is not working. So maybe she wants to amp it up a little more, but I think it's been going on for years and years with the news. And these people, the problem she has with it is half the country, if not more, support Donald Trump now. It's not a tiny group.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking half the country are support, and it's growing, and it's growing. More people like Trump than Biden now. So when she says things like that, Indeed. She's speaking about the majority of the country now.
Yeah. Now listen, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We've just started, and we've got a lot to cover. My name's Brian, always joined but my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this break. Thriveal.com, that's Thriveal.com, is the #1 online retailer for all your outdoor needs. Thriveal strives to help you thrive. They sell goods that make you feel alive and help you thrive outside. They have the lowest prices, the best quality, top service, and free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Folks, with Thriveal, there's nothing trivial. Thriveal, Thriveal.com. Are you looking for unique handmade jewelry that tells a story? Then look no further than Lincraft.design. Lincraft Design is your one-stop shop for exquisite earrings, necklaces, custom pet bolo ties, and stunning 3D pet portraits. Whether it's a gift for yourself or a fellow pet parent, the designs at Lincraft Design will bring joy to you and the gift recipient. Visit the store at Lincraft.design and explore the world of artisanal jewelry and artwork. The store's founder, Lindsay, is from Dublin, Ireland, and has a passion for blending tradition with modern creativity. Each piece at Lincraft Design is a work of art, inspired by Lindsay's muse, Squire, a regal feline with a personality that shines through in every creation. You'll find his charm and playfulness woven into every piece. Whether it's exquisite Irish handmade jewelry or a captivating 3D pet portrait, you can be sure that it's crafted with love and care. Lindsay pours her heart and soul into every creation, making them truly special. Lincraft.design, where tradition dances hand in hand with creativity. Discover the magic of handmade jewelry and art that's uniquely yours. Don't miss out. Start shopping right now at Lincraft.design. You'll find great holiday gifts too. Lincraft.design. This Christmas, experience the magic of the season with the book Searching for Christmas from author Andre Herdoukas, available on Amazon. In Searching for Christmas, meet Ben, a young boy from an isolated orphanage who's never had the chance to experience the beauty of Christmas. But this year, everything changes. Ben embarks on a thrilling adventure to discover the holiday he's only dreamt of. To make his dream come true, he must conquer his fears and learn to play the accordion, hoping to charm the hearts of the townspeople. But his journey has its challenges. He must face the taunts of children in the orphanage and navigate the dangers of the forest on his way to the city. Along the way, Ben finds an unexpected friend in Dave, and together they learn the true meaning of friendship in the search for Christmas. Searching for Christmas is a touching story that will warm your heart and remind you of the joy and wonder that this magical season brings. Searching for Christmas is available in Kindle, paperback, and audiobook on Amazon. This will become a treasured part of the holiday season with your family. Order your copy of Searching
Reaching for Christmas from author Andre Herdoukas. Available on Amazon in ebook, paperback, and audiobook.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Kathy with Brian on the Brian Craig Show podcast. I wanted to talk to you real quick about MyPillow. And, you know, we talk a lot about the mattress topper and everything and how wonderful it is. But some of you guys do need a new mattress. And, you know, mattresses do get old. They get worn out. And, you know, every 10 years or so, you might be like, you know, I think it's time that I do get a new mattress. And I'm mentioning this because Mike Lindell at MyPillow now has mattresses 50% off. And we all know mattresses are very expensive. This mattress, by the way, has all 5-star reviews. And I'm looking at the sizes this comes in. There are bed sizes I've never even heard of. Split king, California king, has every size you can imagine, from twin to even an RV king mattress. So I would take a look at that if you need a new mattress. And like I said, sometimes there comes a point where you do have to get one. And right now it's 50% off. You can get a really good mattress no matter what for like under $1,000. That is a great deal.
It's 50% off with our promo code
with
Kane.
Promo code Kane, exactly. Don't forget Kane. Don't forget that.
At checkout.
So just wanted to mention that, guys. If you know anybody that could use a new mattress, I always think the MyPillow products make the best gifts because they're gifts people will use every day. So if you have somebody you know that could really use a new mattress, this is definitely the place to get it. I know there's a lot of places that sell them, but we all want to support Trump and Mike Lindell. And if you want to support the show, this is the place to get it. And like I said, it has 5-star reviews, all 5-star reviews. People love it. Very comfortable. So check that out at mypillow.com. Promo code Kane.
Kane. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so Kari Lake is running for the Senate in Arizona. And I know a lot of people say, oh, what a mistake. Now, she picked a perfect seat to run for because the Democrats have a split vote going on here in Arizona in the Senate race, okay? And I'm going to play some audio. She confronted at the airport the Democrat who's running for Senate in Arizona. He's in the House of Representatives now, and she confronted him in the airport. But Sinema is the sitting senator from Arizona. She left the Democrat Party, became an independent because she's so unpopular among the Democrats in Arizona, she thought she was going to lose the primary. So she's gone independent. She's running as a third-party independent, Sinema, who's the sitting senator. So Kari Lake is counting on the Democrat vote being split between Sinema
like it might be.
and this guy. And so it's a good opportunity for her to pounce in and not have a divided base like the Democrats do.
Do you think it could divide the Republican vote?
What? No. They're both liberal. Sinema's liberal, and this guy that she's running against is a big left wing. So it's a good gamble for her, and I would love, of course, Kari Lake to win that. But I wanted to play
we'd all love to see that.
This audio, and she's cool. You know, I've interviewed her a couple of times, and the last time I interviewed her, I talked to her off the air a little bit, and she's really cool and down to earth.
Yeah, she is.
And shockingly, she has not changed since before. The first time I interviewed her is when she first got some national attention when she quit her job at the local news affiliate in Arizona. And we interviewed her right after that, before really it became a huge national thing the first time. And then I interviewed her recently after, of course, she's a superstar. And when I interviewed her recently, she had just left Mar-a-Lago. She was in her car, had just left the president. So, you know, and it was like the same person, no ego, like, oh, well, I'm a big shot.
No, she hasn't changed at all.
No, and that's very unusual. Look at Ron DeSanctimonious, right? Look how he's changed.
That's true.
So anyway, Kari Lake, she confronted the Democrat that she's running against at the airport. And the audio is pretty good. I don't know who recorded this, her husband. You know, Kari Lake, she's got so many good things going for her. But one of the things she has going for her that no one else has ever had is she's got the perfect spouse. Her husband is from television, and he's from the production side of things. So Kari Lake always, no matter where she's at, she always has perfect audio, and perfect lighting.
Yeah.
And, because a lot of times politicians, they don't have great audio, they don't have great lighting and all this stuff. So they're really a good team together, Carrie Lake and her husband. So let me play. This is Carrie Lake confronting this Democrat at the airport. It's pretty funny.
We met once when you were actually still on TV, but never
as a journalist,
as a journalist. But look forward to that. I think we're going to have a great race.
It's going to be a knockdown dragout, and unfortunately, our borders.
Now when I talk about the audio, see how professional she is, and this is the kind of person you want holding office. Someone that is this detailed, and
she's very polished and very poised.
Well, the camera that's recording this is about 10 or 15 feet away, yet the audio quality is studio quality. They're in the terminal at the airport having this conversation. That's how good her and her husband are.
Wide open. You and Kirsten have had a lot of time to do something about it, and even the Democrats are upset about it, Ruben.
I think there's a lot we can still do, and we've been doing some good work. I think there's some common ground here I could find on. Look, we need to figure out how to get people here legally, so don't go through the illegal manner.
We have plenty of people here. Problem is we have plenty of people here right now. We have millions of people here.
Fentanyl, you want to go talk to some of the mayors?
Fentanyl has killed more
100%.
young people.
And they come through our
And you've had an opportunity to vote. This is Ruben Gallego. Our border is wide open. He's trying to run for Senate. Our border is wide open. Fentanyl is killing our young people.
And it goes through the ports of entries. 90%
it's coming all over. But that's not
we should really fund more border patrol.
Under President Trump, we had a secure border. And I'm telling you.
But I look forward to working together if we can, and obviously we're going to have more conversations about this. I think it's
we're going to have conversations.
I think it's great that we're going to have a civil conversation too.
Civil, absolutely. But you know what's not civil? People dying on the streets. And in your district,
our state,
in your district,
our state.
No, it's your district. You have the fastest growing homeless population in the country. There are veterans.
Yeah, now this is crazy because and when she ran for governor, the Democrat wouldn't debate her. She has an impromptu debate with this guy, and notice how he's trying to take the economic and fentanyl crisis in his district and make it an Arizona problem, and she keeps bringing it back in your district. And remember, this is in an airport terminal. This is not in a studio or anything else.
I love how he says we'll have a civil conversation, implying that she's not civil.
She's being very civil.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff these liberals do, these little tactics to try to give the impression that she's some hostile lunatic.
Because he's trying to discount what she's saying,
the fastest growing economy in the country, and this is our state. This is our problem.
So you're okay? No, I had a solution for our homeless population,
and I look forward to working.
You did, and this guy wants to destroy our country. He really does. You have the fastest growing homeless population in the country in your district.
I've been bringing.
You've got veterans dying, and you're voting to cut veteran.
That's absolutely not true.
That is absolutely true. I just saw your vote in committee.
The PAC Act. I've worked as a veteran.
Politicians just lie.
And I appreciate. Thank you. Good to see you.
So
I appreciate your service to our country, but I sure wish that you'd care more about our border. We're a border state.
I do care about the border. As a matter of fact, I will go down the border with you. Let's talk to the mayors. Let's get together.
I'm glad that you finally are going down to the border because you've had a chance to vote on it. You've had a chance to vote on it.
Look, let's go down the border together. Let's get the mayors together. Let's tell us about some really sane solutions that aren't just, easy answers, right?
Like you know what was saying? You know what was saying?
More border, putting up more border ports.
Ruben.
Ports of entry, helping out more background checks.
Ruben, we have to finish the wall. You do realize Joe Biden.
That's not as simple answer.
You do realize, yes, it is simple. Answer. You do realize that Joe Biden.
There's a lot of things we do. We should do some border wall. We should add some more.
You do realize that
add some ports of entries. There's a lot of these to do, but just one thing does not answer it at all.
You do realize that President Trump was on the verge of finishing the border wall. He was doing it without support.
Right.
We had may I finish?
No.
Or do you just like to interrupt?
$50.
You just want to interrupt?
I believe it was only 50 miles, and Mexico was supposed to pay for it, and he never did.
Mexico helped us immensely with tens of thousands of soldiers.
Pay for it? They did not pay for it.
Ruben.
So let's be
Joe
clear.
Biden, your hero, gave away $300 million in border wall materials.
You know that.
For nothing. That is absolutely true.
We're still waiting for Mexico to pay for it.
You know what?
But again,
Mexico chipped in.
This is something you and I can work together on.
No, I'm not working together with you. I'm going to beat you.
Let's go talk.
I'm going to beat you. We're going to save Arizona.
Okay. Now, we're not going to work together. I'm going to beat you. I want to have the job. You're not going to be. That's amazing. Now, this thing about Mexico paying for the wall. This is important. Mexico did pay for the wall. If you remember, President Trump renegotiated NAFTA, did away with NAFTA, and we have that MYCA. He renegotiated the NAFTA. That's how they paid for it. Okay, so they did pay for the wall, and then he's got this same talking point that Trump only built 50 miles of wall, which everyone knows is not true. But when you hear this guy talking to Kari Lake, he is typical of almost everyone that is in public office. They're do-nothings. There's this old saying. I know this is an insulting saying. Some do and some teach. Those who can't do teach, and those who
can't teach Jim.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have doers in government. And one of the things that Trump did and has done and continues to do is change the expectation that the American people have for elected officials. We expect results and work now, not rhetoric. Like, you hear what he keeps saying? Well, let's go down and talk to the border mayors.
I love how his solution is to talk and to hire more border security. No, the solution is to shut the border. That's the solution. You don't hire more security, more police, and talk to the mayors.
He wants to have more ports of entry, so it's more organized.
No, you shut everything down. You lock the doors and throw away the key, and you tell them, that's it, we're done, no more. We've let in enough people, and then you start deporting people.
Yeah.
So do you think Biden is going to finish work on the wall like he said today? He's actually going to do the wall, or do you think it's all BS?
Total BS.
I'll believe it when I see it.
It's total BS.
Well, what's happening is things are so chaotic and out of control in these liberal cities. I imagine unless they really do something, you're going to see a lot of changes in elections next year with mayors, even city commissioners, and on all levels.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of changes because some people will vote Democrat no matter what. But I think there are a lot of people in this country that are living in these cities that see it firsthand what's happening now. New York, Philadelphia, Los Angeles. And they are absolutely fed up. And if nothing changes over the next year, I think those places are in play for Trump and for other people to come in and run for election. And, they're never going to stop this influx of illegals. It's worse than anybody ever imagined. They're doing absolutely nothing about it. They have an agenda. I don't think Biden even knows about it or cares about it or is doing anything. He's got other things on his mind.
Yeah.
I think Susan Rice and Obama are running things. That's my opinion. And they want to, the whole thing of the Tucker's thing with the replacement theory, that's going on. They also want to make America people that are comfortable with third world banana republics. They want to change the whole face of the country, the tone of the country. They want to change everything. And this is part of that, is bringing in people. I mean, it is so destructive what's happening with the gangs and the drugs and the violence and all this stuff going on and the money that's being spent. Why, you got to ask yourself, and if you're a liberal, you got to ask yourself, why don't they fix this? Well, they got reasons. Ask yourself, what are those reasons? Why are they letting this happen? And, you might not live in an area where it affects you. Like where we live, it doesn't affect us too much. But I see what's going on in the news, and I feel bad for people that live in these places. And eventually, if it doesn't stop, it will affect you. No matter where you live, it'll affect everybody.
Now, I want to tell everyone about our financial expert, Joe Thomas. And Joe Thomas has two amazing offers to you guys that are both free, okay? Joe Thomas, he was on the radio with me yesterday, and we were talking about people that are either retired already or thinking of retiring or will be retiring sometime soon in the next couple of years or a few months, that things are getting tough because of the economic situation. He's been a financial planner for over 30 years. He's seen everything. He's got a lot of great experience. He's a great guy. And what he's offering to you for free are two things. One, his book, The Retirement Know-It-All Book. The Rich Get Richer Because They Know Things Other People Don't Know is the subtitle. The Retirement Know-It-All Book from Joe Thomas. You can get this book for free at jupiterjoe.com and click on the book link, and I will have a link in the description of the episode. And he's also offering, and this is really a very big offer that he's giving you at no charge. He is offering free phone consultations. No matter where you're located, Joe Thomas can help you, okay? And is offering free phone consultations. So I'm going to give you his phone number. No matter where you're located, you can call. By the way, you can get the book for free at jupiterjoe.com. And you can find his phone number there and call for the free consultation. But you can also call directly for both the book and free phone consultation at 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And thanks, guys, for supporting our sponsors. You know, when you support our sponsors, you're supporting all of our content that we bring you, and it's greatly appreciated. Now, it was reported today, Kevin McCarthy has announced he is not going to finish his term in the House. He's going to resign. And what a crybaby. Let me tell you, what a petty little man. He's embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, he should be.
I would not let people run me out of office like that.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't resign. Now,
I wouldn't either.
Now, it'll be...
I mean, do you think it's that since he can't be speaker, he doesn't want to be there at all? I mean, what kind of a person? It's like he's having a temper tantrum.
It's not only that
is he just so humiliated?
It's not that he won't be speaker. It's that, but he also won't be leadership. And you know, the Speaker of the House, people don't. He's gone through a big humiliation this week.
Absolutely.
The Speaker of the House, I know most people know, was third in line to the presidency. President, Vice President, Speaker of the House. Because they're third in line, they're treated like a president. They have offices bigger than you realize. They have multiple offices at the Capitol building. They're massive. They have a Secret Service detail like a president has. They have on call 24 hours a day, a private Air Force One-like jet at their disposal without notice, always fueled up and ready to go. They get the presidential daily briefing every day. They're involved in all the national security because they have to be ready to assume the role just in case, okay? And he lost all of that this week. It all stops on a dime. And let me tell you, if you go and watch my YouTube video on this, when I saw President Trump on Biden's inauguration day, remember that was a really dramatic YouTube video I made. It was, you know, I saw President Trump at Mar-a-Lago the last 15 minutes of his first term. I was one of the last people to see him when he was actually president in his first term, which was, you know, weird. And then when he had the whole motor pool because he was the president. It was the last 15 minutes. The motor pool for the president is about a mile long. It's indescribable. It's amazingly long with everything that's in it and the military and everything. And then after that, I went to the airport, and this is all on my YouTube video. This was on Inauguration Day. It was 2.5 years ago. I went to the airport, and Air Force One was there. And right after Biden was sworn in, Air Force One took off because Trump was no longer president and left. And I saw grown men cry. I saw one guy who was a veteran. He stood up on a railing and saluted and was in tears. This is all on my YouTube video. So when you're no longer holding that office, all the big deal around it disappears instantly.
Yeah, but did Trump give up and go cry?
No, in fact,
no, he came back for more.
That
tells you a lot about him.
When I saw President Trump, I was as close to him as I am to Kathy right now, and he was happy and smiling ear to ear. And I say on that YouTube video, I said, "Look at President Trump smiling ear to ear. He doesn't have a worry in the world, so I'm not worried." But all those big now he didn't lose everything because he's still a president, right? They're all and they still have the. But Kevin McCarthy had everything taken away from him. They got a nuclear football and everything, all gone on a dime. And he's had a breakdown in the last 24 hours because he lost all of that. Yeah. And he's humiliated. Now the question will be, and I'm interested to see what happens because Paul Ryan was speaker and the Democrats won, so he left. And now he runs Fox News. He's on the board of directors of News Corp at Fox News.
He's destroying Fox News.
But Paul Ryan had connections still. Kevin McCarthy is the first Speaker of the House to be removed from office in the history of the United States Congress. It's never happened before. So there have been speakers who have not run for re-election or have resigned, but there was an actual vote to remove him. Okay, yeah. That was like when Nixon resigned and left the White House. He was humiliating. So he may not have the connections and people willing to do favors like they did Paul Ryan and give him one of these jobs paying him millions of dollars.
No, he might not.
He may just be like a regular guy in California from this point forward and not have much of a much of a connected future. It's hard to say.
Well, I'm curious what will happen. Will he just go away like Harry Reid and maybe get invited to a few parties?
Harry Reid was an old man, though. Kevin McCarthy is not
but he's
like
still
a senior
just,
citizen.
And he just still poof. You know what I mean?
He's like Ron DeSantis. He's done politically. He's unelectable forever. He's leaving in disgrace, and the way he's behaving now is really wimpy. It's really
I think it looks bad publicly. It shows
he's not going to finish his term.
No, it shows the turmoil in the Republican Party. And somebody mentioned on the news how Pelosi was Speaker for 20 years, and they made the point that the Democrats are much more unified because the Republicans have had like 4 speakers in the last 5 years or something. And I think it's because you have so many rhinos in there, and then you have people that really are conservative. And so I think you have a lot of conservatives or Republicans that are really not Republican, and they don't get anything done. They don't do anything. And then you have real people like Matt Gaetz or Marjorie Taylor Greene that are like, look, we got to do stuff here. We got to impeach this guy. We got to cut the funding here. But you have so many rhinos acting like Democrats. That's the problem in the party. And they're finally being held accountable for their lack of action. And I think that's the issue. When
you resign like he did and fired and then resign, people don't take kindly. You know, Sarah Palin has never recovered from resigning as governor, not finishing her term.
Matt Gaetz said one of the main reasons he did this was because he would not release the J6 footage, which was part of the deal he made with him to help to get him the votes.
Yeah.
So for some reason, he would not release that footage. And I think that's very interesting. And there was either something in that footage he or somebody else did not want to get out, because that was what Gaetz said was the main reason he did this, because he would not release that footage. Now, maybe Jim Jordan will, if he gets elected. I hope he gets elected. I like him. Let's see what he does if he releases that footage. I hope he does.
Yeah.
Do you think he will?
They're going to have to. I mean, whoever the next speaker is got to do a lot of wheeling and dealing. And they did not even release the J6 footage to Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson and his people had to go to the Capitol and have it shown to them at the Capitol. It wasn't released to them. Okay, so and there's one piece of footage that Tucker could not find that people want, and it's how did the shaman get into the building? Because Tucker Carlson had the video of the shaman being escorted by Capitol Police looking for an open door to take him into the Senate chamber. And it would be interesting to find out, did he walk in on his own, or did they see this guy in this weird costume and tats and everything and go out and get him and bring him in? And that's been a big question.
Oh, yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I would too.
There's so many cameras around there, you could easily trace back to that encounter.
That's right. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. There is so much more to cover. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
In the early 1990s, Hollis Harris, the CEO of struggling Continental Airlines, was asked to write a memo to his employees to address what was going on. In the memo, Hollis talked about the challenges the business was facing and how much the airline was struggling, but he didn't share anything around how to turn things around. He ended his memo by telling his employees to pray for the future of the company. The next day, he was fired. What Hollis did was very vulnerable, but there was no leadership. We have all felt vulnerable at some point in our lives when we have said or done something that exposed us emotionally. In our personal lives, vulnerability is important for fostering strong relationships and connections. But does vulnerability have a place at work? Should you talk about your failures, emotions, and challenges with your peers and leaders? At work, we have a different dynamic with hierarchy. Bosses, employees, customers, projects, deadlines, and money. In a groundbreaking new book called Leading with Vulnerability, which is based on over 100 CEO interviews and a survey of 14,000 employees, the author Jacob Morgan argues that being vulnerable at work can actually cause far more harm than good. Instead, he says, the best thing you can do is add leadership to vulnerability. For example, if you make a mistake at work, instead of saying, I'm really sorry I screwed up, say, I'm really sorry I screwed up, but here's what I learned from my mistake. And here are 3 things I'm going to do in the future to make sure that doesn't happen again. If you want to learn how to lead with vulnerability so that you can drive business performance, unlock the potential of those around you, and create trust, then check out out Jacob's brand new book at leadwithvulnerability.com. Here's what the CEO of MasterCard said about Jacob's book. I applaud Jacob for pushing us all to understand that there isn't a one-size-fits-all approach to vulnerability. The insights and experiences from these leaders have the potential to strike a nerve no matter your title or tenure. Head to leadwithvulnerability.com to grab a copy today. Now available on Amazon, Layers of Love, a mystic's exploration into the human heart. It's a profound journey of love. Layers of Love goes beyond conventions, offering a panoramic view of love's countless facets, both seen and unseen, felt and unfelt. Recognize that love isn't just an emotion, it's a transformative force at the core of human existence, waiting to be unveiled and understood. When you read Layers of Love, you'll journey from the intoxication of infatuation to the profound bonds that tie us together. You'll explore the interplay between love and spirituality, as well as the courage it takes to love authentically. Order your copy of Layers of Love, a mystic's exploration into the human heart, available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. This book is perfect for book clubs too. Layers of Love, a mystic's exploration into the human heart, on Amazon. Parents, grandparents, and teachers, take a thrilling Halloween adventure with your children like you've never taken before. With the book Brain Juice from New York author Michelle Ura. Being a zombie can be a real challenge, but this new zombie girl discovers a whole new way to enjoy her zombie diet. She craves the juicy crunch of apples, the sweetness of strawberries, and the fresh tropical taste of bananas. But what happens when she decides to mix these tasty fruits with brains? Find out when you read Brain Juice. Available in both Kindle and paperback on Amazon. Don't miss this chance to treat your little ones to this fun and spooky adventure. Order Brain Juice from author Michelle Ura today on Amazon. Brain Juice, where Halloween meets healthy eating in the most unexpected way. Order your copy on Amazon.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Before we get back to the politics story, I had something happen today, and it was strange experience. My debit card got skimmed again, and this has happened before. And you found out, Kathy, because I don't look at the bank statements or anything. You handle all of that, thankfully so, because I hate dealing with that kind of stuff. And there were a couple of charges. One of them was for Longhorn Steakhouse in New York,
Right. And then some sports place in some other state.
And in Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, that's right.
In Tampa, Florida. And you had called the bank, and they said that I had to actually go to a branch.
Right.
And I went to the bank in person. And I've had fraudulent charges made on my debit card several times in the past, over the years, and it's always been a skimmer on a gas pump. It's happened at different gas stations. And when it's a debit card, it's the worst because they get the cash. A credit card, it's not, they take the cash out of your account. And usually I get a fraud alert text when these things happen. I didn't get any text messages this time when this happened, but you just coincidentally, luckily caught it. And I was a little surprised I got skimmed because I use Apple Pay when I get gas, and I did not know that the skimmers worked on Apple Pay. I thought you had to physically insert a card into the card reader for that, but that's not the case. You can get skimmed with Apple Pay, they told me at the bank. But anyway, I went to the bank, and when I went to the bank, they said, okay, we'll get you on the line with the fraud department. So they took me into an office cubicle. And I'm sitting there waiting, and there were two other bank customers in two other cubicles that were doing the exact same thing. And I said to the banker that was helping me, banker, I don't know what you call the people at the bank. I call them bankers. I said, what's going on here? There's a whole line of us here. And she says, this is every day these days. She says, this is happening a lot.
Yeah, it's the technology. And so our
lot
solution
more than normal
is, we've never done this, is to get a gas credit card.
I'm gonna get a gas.
I think that's a good solution. We've never done it, and I think that's. Of course, they could skim that, can you use? But I guess you can only use it at the gas station. So
I don't know, but it wouldn't
or pay cash.
Yeah, but it wouldn't come out of our bank account debit card. But getting skimmed, and if you remember the last time I got skimmed, okay, I went to the.
It's happened to you quite a bit.
It's
happened. What's going on around here?
Well, I buy all the gas. Our whole marriage.
True. That's true.
And all of our cars.
You are in charge of the gas.
I keep your car full. I fill mine up.
It's happened. I remember it happened at the Wawa near our house, and the Wawa was pretty new. And you went in and talked to the manager.
Okay,
he had a complete meltdown.
This was crazy. Okay,
he denied it and everything.
My debit card got skimmed at Wawa. Whoever skimmed it, they were using it like crazy at different locations quickly. $80 here, $80 there. And I got a text message from the bank, but before they could stop it, they had put in several charges at different Wawas. And I knew it was a new debit card, and I had only used it at the Wawa, at a particular pump. So the next day, I went to the Wawa and I asked for the manager. And let me tell you, when you ask for the manager, I've never done that before, at a gas station convenience store, it's like a big deal. They don't want to talk to customers.
And then Wawa was pretty new.
Yeah, and
it was only up in a year or so.
And I told the manager, I said, hey, I just want to tell you, my card got skimmed on one of your machines. He had a meltdown. He's like, we check our machines every day and check our pumps. And I said, well, it was that pump right there. And he got very accused. He's like, where else how do you know it was here? How do you know? And I said, because it was a new card and I have not used it anywhere but here.
Here you're trying to help the guy and he got really upset.
And he was getting more upset. And I said, listen, I'm not accusing you. Right. I just want to let you know that there's a skimmer on your pump over there. And he was so freaked out about it. I thought like he was in on it. You know what I mean? It was so bizarre the way he acted. All right, now
I want to do this poll real quick. We did on your YouTube. We put polls up on the community section, and I put a poll up. It's had 5,100 votes.
Oh, wow.
Do you think Trump will become the Speaker of the House? I put this up yesterday, and the choices were not a chance, definitely, and maybe. Do you think Trump will be Speaker of the House? 53% said maybe. 33 said no, not a chance, and 14 said definitely. What do you say? Definitely not. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he said it, but I don't think it's going to. He already endorsed Jim Jordan.
I've got a new
article.
This
was before he endorsed Jim Jordan.
I've got a new article on that, but I'll tell you. So this is on my YouTube channel community page.
Right. Yeah, and we put polls up there a lot.
Yeah, and 5,100 people have responded.
Yes.
That is more people than respond to the national polls you see in the news on the presidential races. Most of the polls you see on television on presidential races have 1,100 or 3,000. It's usually, and so I got more people.
And people leave a lot of comments. There's 174 comments so far. So I like to read comments in articles and polls and things. So read the comments, leave a comment. Sometimes I don't put a choice up there. People wish I did, but that's okay. You can write your choice in the comments if you want to do that.
Now, before we move on, though, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. You guys that are Patreon supporters, your support helps us out a lot. There are many perks to becoming a patron of the program. If you go to the patron page, it will show you all of them. And if you'd like to become a patron, there's a link to our Patreon page in the description of this episode. One of those perks, our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. So the names I'm about to share with you are all top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike P., Maria in Texas, Melissa, Richard, David, Heather, ActicFox, John, Paulette, and Carlos. These are our top Patreon supporters. Well, there's an article on ABC News. It's an interesting thing. It says here, the idea of Donald Trump serving as Speaker was first proposed on the day he left the White House, January 20th, 2021, by a Trump activist named Rogan O'Hanley. That's DC Drano on Twitter or X.
Oh, DC Drano. He's good.
Yeah, he's very good. I love DC Drano. And they're saying that Trump has been thinking about this since then, that this has been on his mind all this time. And I'll tell you about that. You know, Trump becoming speaker, I understand it's a far-fetched idea, okay? But they've had a breakdown already, the Republicans, on the choice. There's about 4 different people. The 2 famous ones are Scalise and Jim Jordan. The other 2 aren't so well known. They were going to have a forum, and Fox News was going to be there. It's been canceled because there's such disagreement on who's going to be the speaker. And what Trump said yesterday, I thought was very interesting. He said he was open to becoming the temporary speaker until they could find a permanent one. So I understand the chances of that are unlikely. Okay, I'm not insane, but there is a possibility of it. If the Republicans are unable to come, they were hardly able to come together last time, and now there's so much animosity by the Kevin McCarthy contingent. Remember, they had 15 votes last time. 8 months ago, they had 15 votes, and they were not at each other's throats like they are now.
Yeah.
So they may not be able to come together on a speaker, and if they can't, that's when Trump might be able to come in. And I'll tell you what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. She said virtually every Republican in the House has been endorsed by Trump. They need him and they owe him.
So when is this going to happen? When are they going to
Tuesday or Wednesday is when they're supposed to vote.
That'll be crazy.
But I haven't seen.
Could you imagine the meltdown?
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
By the liberals if he is put in there as a temporary speaker.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be temporary. There's no such thing. But he said he would only do it temporarily.
Right. But
like he would
be speaker. That would be incredible. I don't think it'll happen, but stranger things have happened.
Oh, well, that's for sure.
Politics, and that would be something.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah.
He might, but he did endorse Jim Jordan. But I could see him going to people and saying, "You won't get my endorsement if you don't vote for me." But I don't know if he wants to do it. He has so much going on right now with these court cases.
Well, Kathy, here's
how much can the guy put on his plate?
Here's
for
the
God's
thing:
sakes?
if he were speaker, he would have so much press because he'd be at the center of all the attention.
Oh
it would be
Nancy
the best.
Pelosi would lose her mind.
They would all lose their mind.
Yeah.
If he were to become speaker, I think the Democrats would walk out of the Congress and would refuse to participate.
I think you're right. They're a bunch of crybabies.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah, AOC. Well, AOC would have a completely lose it.
Now, there is a really disgusting story about Hunter, and I want to share this with you.
This is awful.
Hunter Biden withdrew his daughter's college savings to help fund a months, plural, long drug and hooker binge. He still hasn't paid taxes on it because in those funds, when you withdraw the money, you got to pay taxes. And this is according to documents found by the Daily Mail. The first son was cast in sharp relief in papers from an IRS whistleblower who investigated him for his tax crimes. In 2018, Hunter was in his, this was like the peak of his drug bender. According to his memoir, skulking in Connecticut motels and spending time with prostitutes and high on crack cocaine. His private bankers at Wells Fargo sent him an email on December 17th, 2018, warning that he just had 44 cents left in his account, according to records obtained by the Daily Mail.
Whose banker calls you personally to tell you that?
When your father was vice president.
Have you guys ever had a banker personally call you to tell you? I mean, you might get a notification, low balance threshold.
Oh, I think
we've all had that.
Yeah.
But who gets a personal phone? That's the kind of level he is.
Because of who his dad is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hunter responded to the bankers with a jumbled reply. This was all on the laptops, ordering them to transfer $20,000 from his daughter Maisie's educational savings account. He told the wealth managers, liquidate what you can.
Wow.
Live and love you both. Yeah.
I think Hunter Biden, and I think we can all agree on this. I think we can all agree on that he is just an absolute scumbag, and he is probably one of the worst people ever to exist. I mean, obviously you have serial killers, but this guy has zero zero empathy for other people.
Well,
He's totally selfish.
Well, when he did
has
this,
no control
listen
over
to this.
himself.
At the time, when he took the money from his daughter's college account, his daughter Maisie, now 22, was in her final year of high school. So she was just getting ready to go off to college. And he took her her money and spent it on crack.
I guess
hookers.
he figures there'll be more money. There's just more money somewhere else, so I'll just take it out of this.
Yeah.
And just replace it with something else. I think the reason they have to keep making money is because he keeps burning through the money with hookers and drugs, and those hookers he likes are very expensive. Apparently, I paid $20,000 for one of them for one night. So it is amazing to me. This is a man who has an extremely addictive personality. He's just a man of addictions. I mean, he just has no control over himself. And I wonder why that is. I wonder why his
Spoiled.
father has problems.
Spoiled.
Do you think there's something off in his brain or like a chemical imbalance that might be it? Or do you think he's just spoiled and entitled and has never been held accountable for anything, and he probably still won't be? I mean, I just can't imagine somebody like this. Why do they even keep talking to this guy and their family? He's just destructive.
Yeah. No.
Any other normal family he'd be the black sheep and they'd have nothing to do with him. I have a black sheep in my family. I have a cousin in Canada. I won't say who.
Really? I didn't know about this.
Very cool guy. He's older than me. He's my mom's cousin. He's my second cousin. He's older. And you've never met him, though. And he's my mom's cousin. He was the son of my uncle, my grandma's brother.
You might as well just say his name with all these details.
My uncle was a doctor, and he was an anesthesiologist in Toronto. And he was very, had money. And this cousin of mine was very irresponsible, just burned through any money his parents gave him, drugs, same type of deal, just on a lower, not as on the grandest of scale. Then my uncle and aunt died and left him some money. They had a house in Toronto, which was worth quite a bit. It was right in downtown that they had bought like in the 40s. Okay, it was a very nice house. Anyway, he had his half that he split with his sister, burned through that, and he was always going to people in the family for money. Eventually they just said, screw you, and they cut him off. And nobody's heard from him. He was homeless. His wife left him.
They still haven't heard from him?
Nope.
Really?
We have no clue what happened to him. This was like 10 years ago.
No one's heard from him in 10 years.
Nope. Everybody cut him off. They were done because what happened is once his parents died, he started to go to other people in the family for money. And they're like, that's not going to happen. So that money dried up. He burned through the inheritance. And his sister, my other cousin, who's very cool, was like, no, I'm not giving you any money at all. No way. He had nobody else to go to. His wife left him. So that was it. He disappeared. I mean, I hate to say, he was a nice guy. I met him a couple times, but he used people and had no empathy for how it affected people. He just felt everybody's bank account was his personal property and that everybody had to give him money, but they cut him off. I don't understand why this does not happen. I guess because they use him as the conduit for all their businesses, you want to call it that, and all their money laundering. He's their go-to guy since Bo's not here anymore. That's right. That's the only reason I can think that they keep him around.
Yeah,
because he just is so destructive, this guy.
Yeah, he is.
And selfish.
No, he is. And Biden's a terrible father because, that terrible story about that. Yeah, I remember this story, and I'd forgotten about this person in your family.
Yeah, it's sad because, it's just sad.
When you have someone in your family that is that addicted to drugs, there's you have to cut them off. You can't give them 10 cents.
No, you're just enabling them.
Worst thing you can do, there's two things that are terrible to do when you have someone that's that addicted. One, you give them 10 cents, they'll find drugs. The other one is don't tell them you're going to take them to rehab, okay, or set an appointment. You just go and get them and take them, because if you go to somebody like Hunter and say, listen, on Tuesday I'm taking you to rehab, I forget what the term is called, but they go on this last party before they go to rehab, and there's a lot of ODs then. And you've got to cut people off that are that way. I remember
that's what happened to my family.
The movie Less Than Zero with Robert Downey Jr. I love that movie, and I saw it, of course, when it was new, when I was like a kid, a teenager, whatever, however old we were. And then I saw the movie for the first time as an adult a few years ago, and it was like watching another movie. There's a scene in Less Than Zero. Robert Downey's a drug addict in his rich Beverly Hills family.
Male hooker.
And there's this, he's a male prostitute to pay for his drug habit because his family cut him off. And they're a rich family, like Beverly Hills family. And there's a scene in Less Than Zero where he breaks into his own house and his parents and his brother catch him. And his brother, like, beats him up. And when I was a kid, I said, what a jerk his brother is. How can his dad treat him like this?
And the father threw him out.
And his dad threw him out. And now I realize what have these people been through with this drug addict?
People like that rarely change.
It's a sad thing.
They just use people.
Yeah.
And just like I said, they think that their bank accounts. So what happened in my family is once my cousin's parents died, that money stopped because his mother was a big enabler, my great aunt. And he, like I said, he'd start to go to my uncle and my other cousin for money. And they're like, we're not giving you any money. So they basically cut him off and stopped communication with him. And
it's bad.
I asked them, have you heard from They're like, no.
And that's,
have no clue what's happened to him.
You know, in Hunter Biden, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. In many ways, I feel so sorry for Hunter Biden. He has been, he lost his mother in that car accident.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got to remember, Hunter was in the car. In the car accident, Hunter was in the car with Bo, the mother who died,
and the daughter,
and the little girl who was an infant, their sister, she died. Okay, so they lost a sister and their mother. And then Hunter,
and then he lost his brother too.
Well, Hunter and Bo were in the hospital recovering from the accident that their mother and sister was killed in. Joe Biden had just gotten elected to the Senate. He got sworn into the Senate in the hospital room as a photo op with Hunter and Bo Biden with like bandages on their heads and bathrobes. Then he left them and went to Washington. Okay. And then what happened? His dad puts all of his love and affection to Bo Biden, and he uses Hunter as a money mule. And I mean, I'm not defending Hunter Biden, guys. Don't misunderstand me. But you got to look at, he has been so abused by his father his whole life.
I think with a lot of these things, and this is my personal theory with Hunter, I think he hates his father.
Oh, yes.
And I think he does this to punish his father. And I think he left that laptop on purpose. I've said that many times. There's no doubt in my mind. He filled it with all kinds of dirt and all kinds of information that was incriminating, and I think he left it there on purpose. But I think part of the motivation behind his behavior is pure hatred towards his father. I think he likes it when he's a problem, and for him. But again, he still has not been held accountable. He's another spoiled rich kid. Well, not as long as his family keeps him around.
Not as long as his dad bails him out.
Exactly.
In this Biden book, not that many years ago, Joe's brother got into a car accident and a hit and run, and Joe, of course, fixed it for him. The entire Biden family are degenerates. They're wilder than the Kennedys.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of stuff that well, you're reading this book, so there might even be even more disgusting things.
It's so disgusting because, and I'll tell you why. When you see people like the Clintons or the Bidens, and most of you guys out there, all we do is work hard to support our families and support our lives, and we lead lives,
mind our own business,
obeying the law, paying our taxes, and working hard. And then you see these degenerates that have unlimited wealth, amazing amounts of power and celebrity. And sometimes it can be like, do you have to be a scumbag to be rich and successful? And
right. And I think what bothers people a lot is that they are running the country. If this was just some regular family that you heard about on TV or true crime or something, you might be like, oh, that's too bad. And then you move on with your life. But they're running the country. And that's what really bothers people is like you said, somebody that has just been corrupt their whole life, and now they're running things, and now it's affecting everybody's life. And now we got to deal with Hunter and all this crap, and we got to deal with Joe Biden and the way he runs the way he runs his family is how he's running the country. It's
I want to give an update on the Mighty MAGA Lions. Right before the podcast, I just came home from the post office. We have been sending out every day this week, every day, another batch of the Mighty MAGA Lions. Everyone who pre-ordered, if you've not received your Mighty MAGA Lion already, it is in the mail and on the way to you.
All the pre-orders are on the way.
And those of you that that have ordered as they've been, since it's available now, those have been going out too. And we have had so many Mighty MAGA Lions that I couldn't take them to the post office myself. 2 days, we had to set up the post office to come to our house and pick them. I didn't even know the post office did this. The post office will come to your house and pick up packages.
And people love them. We're getting so much. People have sent us selfies and have messaged us how they love it. I mean, it really is adorable.
Yeah.
It's really, really adorable.
Yeah.
And we encourage everyone to check it out, MightyMagaLion.com. I'm telling you, if you have a Trump lover or just for yourself, it is probably one of the best Christmas gifts you can give somebody, or a birthday gift.
And,
or just because. I mean, honestly, it is really awesome.
And you guys, when you receive your Mighty MAGA Lion, if you could take a picture, maybe a selfie with it, or if you don't want a selfie, take a picture of your lion, post it on whatever social platform you use with the link to Mighty.
Show your friends.
Put the link to MightyMagaLion.com in there, and you can help us promote it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, and I would greatly appreciate that. I know Kathy and Dee, who's our partner with the Mighty MAGA Lion, would appreciate it too. So
yeah, absolutely. We really count on you guys, and you guys are like our marketing team.
That's right.
And we don't pay for any fancy marketing or anything. It's just
it's
Brian
on
the
budget.
Radio and us here, and you guys always come through for us. So if you get them, if you get one, you'll love it. I promise you. You're going to want to take him with you everywhere. And I've said this before, like the Trumpy Bear's cute, and we have a Trumpy Bear, but it's like carrying around a 2-year-old.
It's pretty big.
The Mighty MAGA Lion is the perfect size for all ages, and I'm telling you, want to carry him everywhere you go. Mm-hmm. He's not too small, not too big. He's really the perfect size, and we talked about that for weeks, the size of the lion. And I mean, this went on for 6 months, the design here. And I remember I said to Dee, because Dee does this for a living, she makes these animals with her company, I said, I want the face to be cute but fierce at the same time. And I wasn't sure if she would get it, but it absolutely is exactly how it looks. He's fierce, but he's cute at the same time.
Yeah.
It is just when she showed me the face, I said, that is the perfect face. I love it.
Yeah.
And so the three of us really collabed on this and came up with the whole concept together. We all contributed, and it really has been a labor of love. So we have them here now. If you get it, it'll probably get shipped within a week. I'd say you get it within 2 to 3 weeks at the latest.
Probably much. They're getting delivered pretty fast.
Sooner. Yeah, they get delivered within 3 days.
Yeah, I'm surprised how far they've been mailed and how quickly they've gotten there because we followed the tracking.
Yeah, I mean so. Please think about that as a great Christmas gift or birthday, or just because you can send them to whoever you want. If when you buy it, put the address in you want it sent to.
And remember. Every Mighty MAGA Lion that you receive has been touched by both me and Kathy because we're doing the packing and shipping.
We do all the packing and shipping ourselves.
So we
put a little card in there too to thank you.
Yeah. So we handle each and every one.
That's right.
Okay, and they make great Christmas gifts. So go to MightyMagaLion.com. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.